Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, there lived a little boy named Sandro. Just 6 years old, Sandro had a head full of dreams and a heart brimming with curiosity, especially about one thing: space. He loved gazing at the stars, wondering about distant galaxies and dreaming of soaring among the constellations. One clear night, as stars twinkled like diamonds in the sky, little Sandro lay in bed dreaming of becoming a great astronaut. While gazing at the moon through his window, his eyes grew heavy. In a flash, he was enveloped by a warm, bright light. As he opened his eyes, he found himself sitting inside a giant rocket ship. All around him were flashing control panels emitting a soothing blue and red glow. A friendly, calm voice echoed in the cockpit. 3, 2, 1, liftoff. As the engines roared, the rocket shot up like a shining arrow, piercing through the clouds and leaving the Earth far behind. The ascent was smooth and steady. Sandro felt a surge of excitement mixed with a touch of nervousness. It was his first journey into space. All he could think about was how amazing it must be out there beyond the Earth. As they traveled further, he saw not just a black canvas sprinkled with stars, but a breathtaking view of colorful planets and sparkling galaxies. First, he spotted Saturn, the ringed planet, its golden rings shimmering like a ballerina's tutu as it spun on its axis. Next, Mars waved its red sandy dunes at him as it passed by. Each planet had a unique charm, and Sandro was captivated by their beauty. But what truly stole his breath away were the stars. They weren't just tiny pinpricks of light, but twinkling gems scattered across a velvet cloth. It felt like they were winking at him, sharing their celestial secrets. Sandro couldn't help but giggle as he imagined them giggling back at his joy. As the rocket continued its journey, the atmosphere in the cockpit changed. The playful tunes that filled the air moments ago were now replaced by a serious hum. The once brightly lit control panels dimmed, casting long shadows that danced ominously in the corners of Sandro's vision. The gentle rocking of the rocket was now a steady, unwavering hum that vibrated deep within his bones. Through the large front window, what was once a vast expanse of twinkling stars and colorful planets had transformed into a dark, silent void. An eerie quiet had fallen, broken only by the faint hum of the ship's engine. The silence was so profound that Sandro could hear his own heartbeat echoing in his ears. Suddenly, the tranquility was shattered by a series of sharp, insistent beeps. The red alert lights flashed erratically, bathing the cockpit in a harsh crimson glow. A robotic voice boomed, startling Sandro out of his thoughts. "Warning! Asteroids ahead! Please fasten your seatbelt." Fear threatened to engulf him, squeezing the breath out of his lungs. His heart pounded against his ribs like a trapped bird, desperate to escape its cage. As the rocket lurched, throwing him off balance, Sandro instinctively reached for the nearest control panel, his fingers fumbling over the unfamiliar buttons. Then, remembering his astronaut training, he took a deep breath. He needed to stay calm. With newfound determination, he straightened his posture, gripped the controls firmly, and focused on the task at hand. Guiding the rocket through the asteroid field, his hands moved swiftly and surely across the control panel. The rocket responded instantly, weaving and dodging with precision. For a moment, the fear receded, replaced by the thrill of the challenge. Sandro felt a surge of power as he realized he was in control. He maneuvered the rocket with skill, narrowly avoiding the looming asteroids. His focus was unwavering, his movements precise. Each near miss sent a jolt of adrenaline through him, but he didn't falter. He kept going. And then just as suddenly as it began, the danger seemed to vanish. The robotic voice announced, "Asteroid field end. Please relax." The harsh red alert light softened to a reassuring green. The gentle hum returned to the cockpit, and the stars twinkled merrily outside the window once more. As the danger passed, a wave of relief washed over Sandro. His hands trembled slightly, still imprinted with the memory of gripping the controls moments ago. He allowed himself a shaky smile. He had faced danger and emerged victorious. In that moment, amidst the grandeur of space, Sandro understood that fear was just a whisper compared to the roar of his courage. He was no longer the scared boy who had boarded the rocket. He was Sandro the brave, a young astronaut who had stared down danger and won. The silence that followed was no longer daunting. It was peaceful, a testament to the quiet strength he had found within himself. As the rocket continued its journey through the cosmos, Sandro leaned back in his seat, a sense of calm replacing the earlier fear. He looked out at the stars, no longer seeing them as distant, cold points of light, but as companions, silently cheering him on. He thought about the asteroid field, not with terror, but with a newfound respect. It had been a test, a trial by fire that had forged his bravery, and he had passed. As the journey continued, Sandro's thoughts drifted to Earth, to his home and to his family. He missed them, but he knew this journey was not just for himself. It represented the dreams of everyone who had ever looked up at the stars and yearned to explore. He was carrying their hopes and dreams with him, and he wouldn't let them down. Sandro closed his eyes, a soft smile gracing his lips. In that moment, he was more than just a boy on a rocket. He was a pioneer, an explorer, a dreamer touching the stars. He dreamt of flying among the clouds. He dreamt of sailing across the skies. When he woke up, he found himself lying in his bed. Sunlight streamed through his window, painting stripes on his face. His room, with its familiar toys and posters, seemed a bit smaller after his grand space adventure. For a moment, he was confused. He couldn't remember. Then he saw it, his striped pajamas, which looked a lot like his spacesuit. He remembered it was all a dream. But then a soft voice broke through his thoughts. "Sandro, time to wake up." He opened his eyes to see his mom smiling down at him. She was humming a cheerful tune as she tucked in his blanket. "Good morning, sleepyhead," she said, her eyes twinkling. "Did you have a nice dream?" Sandro sat up in bed and couldn't help but grin. "The best space trip ever," he said, his voice filled with excitement, even if it was a dream. From that day on, whenever Sandro gazed up at the night sky, he'd feel a surge of joy. He might just be a little boy from a small town, but he knew he had the heart of an astronaut and the spirit of a space explorer. And sometimes, when the moon shone bright, he'd close his eyes and wish himself back to the starry magic of his great space adventure. The end. Why kids love this story? This story is a cosmic delight for children, because it takes their wildest imaginations and makes them feel like they are floating among the stars. Here's why it resonates with little dreamers like your kids. No one wild imagination. It ignites a sense of wonder by showing a kid just how exciting and mysterious space can be. No to a funny alien friend. Who doesn't love a goofy alien buddy? Zumo, with his playful spirit, brings a dose of humor that kids adore. Number 3, thrilling adventure. From blasting off to dodging asteroids, the story keeps kids on the edge of their seats. Number 4, cozy ending. Despite the adventure, the story ends with warmth and familiarity, bringing the excitement down to earth with a gentle landing. Share the magic with other little astronauts and use the hashtag #SandroSpaceDream. Do you want another fantastical tale? Tell me in the comments what your child's dream is. It might just become the next bedtime story. And remember, between the pages of a storybook, anything is possible, even dreams of soaring among the stars. P.S. Perfect for bedtime or future astronauts.